guys. Welcome to SB5. This is the explanation video. So you can see that from the description here that you're going to be doing some things with rational expressions, some factoring, some formulas, and then some word problems. So I would read through that if I was you guys. It's going over again some of this Algebra 1 stuff. Let's skip on down here to our exercises. Try to work your way through them. All right, number 1 here, it says we have this formula to find the average. So what's the average of those three? So according to our formula, we add those three numbers up, these three right here, and divide by 3. So 86 plus 113 plus 119 is 318. So I'm adding them all up. Divided by 3 is 106. So my answer is B, 106. All right, number 2. They give us a formula. C is 5/9, F minus 32. Find C if F is 68. So I'm going to use my formula. 5/9. And it says F is 68 minus 32. So I plugged 68 into there. All right, 5/9. 68 minus 32 is 36. And then you multiply 5/9 times 36, you get 20. So C is the answer. All right, number 3. There's a couple ways to go about this. I'm going to go what I feel is the fastest way, and I'm going to add 4/3 to both sides. We'll subtract 4/3 from both sides. So I get x equals, if I move that 4/3 over, I get negative 20/3 minus, I have to put the 3 down there, minus the 4/3 that moves over. And then I combine those like terms. Negative 20/3 minus 4 more is negative 24/3, which when you reduce that is negative 8. So C again. All right, number 4. This one has a 4 and a 2, so I'm going to actually use what we've learned in class about clearing fractions and multiply by the LCD, which is 4, for all of this, because 4 and 2 both go into 4. That's why I multiply everything by 4. So I'm going to use the method of clearing fractions. So if I multiply the first fraction by 4, s over 4 by 4, the 4's cancel and I get s. And then if I multiply negative 7 over 2 by 4, the 4 and the 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 times 7 is minus 14. And then over here, the 4 and the 4 times 4 is 16. Cleared fractions, solve for s. It's going to add 14 to both sides. So 16 plus 14 is 30. So my answer is D, 30. All right, number 5. This one says, what's the larger solution to this? So I'm going to factor this. And you guys know I use the big X. So here's my big X. 2 times negative 5, A times C, that's negative 10 on top. B, which is 9 on bottom. Then I use my brain. What multiplies to give me negative 10 but adds to give me 9 is 10 and negative 1. Divide by A. A is the number in front of x squared, so divide both sides by 2. And since it's asking about a solution, I can write these as 10 divided by 2 is x plus 5. And the other one, negative 1 divided by 2 is x minus a half. And again, since it's saying something about a solution, I'm going to set those equal to 0. So I get x is negative 5 and positive 1/2 for my answers. And the bigger solution is 1/2 because he's the positive one. All right, part 6. What does that factor into? So we're going to factor. Again, I use the big X for these, but you can use whatever you like. A times C, that gives me negative 12 on top, because 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. B, that's the number in front of X, goes on bottom, so that's 1. Then I use my brain. What multiplies to give me negative 12? It adds to give me 1. That's 4. And negative 3. Divide by A, that's the number in front of X squared, so 2. And then I go to my little factors. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, so I get X plus 2. And then the other one, X minus 3 over 2. But remember, we don't ever leave it as a fraction. We do that slide and divide, so that 2 is going to move in front of the X. So I get X plus 2 and 2X minus 3. Now, who does he match? That would be D. All right, number 7. David received 3 grades and his first 3 tests, and he wants to have an average of 90 after his 4th test. Well, you know that when you average, you add all of them together and divide by how many there are. He wants a 90. So I'm going to tell you the shortcut to this. I know that he wants a 90, and he has 4 tests. So that's going to be 360. 90 times 4 is 360. And then I'm going to subtract from it all of the grades he already has. So I'm going to subtract the 100, the 85, and the 92. And when I do that, it's going to tell me how many points are left for his 4th test. So I take 90 times 4, because there's 4 tests, and he wants a 90 average. That's 360. Minus the 3 tests he already has, 100, 85, and 92. And I end up with an 83.
Teacher, the students, I'm sorry, I missed an announcement earlier. Probably need to get this one out. The Dogheads have clinched their playoff spot, and when they're now selling some playoff T-shirts, you may pick up an order form from the office.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, number 8. Heidi here. She must divide 870 bales of hay between 3 stables. So the second has 90 more than the first, 150 less than the third. Oh, dear Lord, she's got a lot to do here. So I'm just going to put my 3 stables. And we know only a little bit. We know that she's got, I'm going to put X here for the third stable. 150 less than the third. So the second stable has 150 less than the third. So X minus 150. And then I'm going to call the first stable Y. And so the second stable again has 90 more than the first. So he also has 90 plus Y. All right. Now, notice that I have 2 different letters. That's not going to work for me. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to set stable 2's 2 equations, 90 plus Y equal to one another, X minus 150. And I'm going to get rid of one of these letters. How am I going to do that? I'm going to solve for Y. Y is, so if I move that 90 over, I get X, subtract 90, negative 150 minus 90 is negative 240. So now this here is no longer Y, it's X minus 240. So it's the third stable minus 240 is what's in the first stable. Now I'm going to add all the stables together to get 870 bales of hay. And so that means X minus 240 plus the middle stable is X minus 150 plus X in the third stable equals 870 bales of hay. And now I'm actually going to solve this. X, X, and X make 3X. I'm combining like terms. Negative 240 and negative 150 are negative 390. Okay. Now I have 3X equals, I'm going to add 390 to both sides. So 870 plus 390 is 1260. And then one more step, divide by the number in front of x, which is 3. So I get 420 is what x is, which is stable 3, and that's how much it wants me to answer. How many is stable 3? 420. So word problems. All right, number 9. Oh, this one's not too bad. So it says 2 times f at 3. F at 3 is this number. Minus 3 times g of 1. G at 1 is that number. And h at negative 3. H at negative 3 is that number. I just saw where they intersected in this table. So now I'm going to actually do some work. So 2 times f at 3 was 6 up there. Minus 3 times g at 1 was 7. Plus h at negative 3 was negative 14. And now I'm going to figure out what that is. That's 12 minus 21 minus 14. And that is negative 23. Okay, number 10. The number of chirps given by that function, 4 times t minus 40, and if the temperature is 90, so we're going to plug 90 in for t. So I'm going to do 4 times 90 minus 40, and that's 4, and 90 minus 40 is 50, so that equals 200. I expect 200 chirps per minute in a 90-degree weather. All right, now to the practice exercises. Another formula. So we're going to plug these guys in. The formula says 2 times the L. L in this case is 40, plus the W, which is 20, and that's 2 times 40 plus 20 is 60. So 2 times that is 120. Another formula. This one says S is N is 5 over 2, then a parenthesis, A plus L. A is 2, L is 18. So I get 5 over 2 times 2 plus 18 is 20. So 5 halves times that is 50. So my answer to that one is 50, which is E. Another formula. This one says a half times H. Let me move that down so we can see him a little better. H is 10. Times, the formula says B plus C. B is 8 and C is 12. So the half times 10 is 5, and inside the parentheses, 8 plus 12 is 20. 5 times 20 is 100. So I get C is 100. Okay, number 4. Back to our formula again. So, oops. Sorry about that. So our cost is 75 plus 30 times N. N is the number of 1/5 miles. And it says we have 2 2/5. 2 2/5 is the same as 12/5. So that's 12 for N. And if I was to simplify this, that's 75 plus 30 times 7, which is 285. Now that doesn't tell us what this cost is in at all. It could be in pennies, dollars, it doesn't tell us anything. So I'm going to go with none of the above because I didn't get $285, and all these were in dollar signs. And the closest one is B, $2.85. But I got 285, so I'm going to go with E, none of the above. All right, Andy, he was born on his mom's 32nd birthday. Which expression best represents his age, his mom's age, when Andy is N years old? So you just add their birthday, or add 32 to however old Andy is. If he's 10, she's 42. If he's 20, she's 52. So 32 plus N tells how old she is. All right, number 6. Here's two equations. What's the value of 4a plus, let's do it this way. Let's add them together. So I got 3a minus 2b equals 8. And underneath it, I'm going to write a plus 3b equals 7. And I'm going to add these two equations together, like legit add them together. 3a plus a is 4a. Negative 2b plus 3b is plus b. And 8 plus 7 is 15. So I added the columns, the a's, the b's, and the numbers. And it says 4a plus b is 15. And look what it says. What is the value of 4a plus 15? Well, we just said it's 15. Look at that. So easy. All right, now number 7, that's a rational expression. The best way to deal with them is clearing fractions. The denominators are n and 2, so I'm going to multiply everybody by 2 and n. All the terms get a 2n. So 4 times 2n is 8n. Now the next fraction, negative 3 over n. The n's are going to cancel, but you get 2 times 3, so minus 6 in here. Come back. Minus 6. And then the next one, the 2's are going to cancel, so you get 5 times n, so equals 5n. Now fractions are gone. They're cleared. So we got to get all the letters on one side, numbers on the other. So 8n, you're moving. So negative 6 is equal to, if I subtract 8n, 5 minus 8 is negative 3n's. I get rid of the number in front of n, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 6 divided by negative 3 is 2. And that tells me how much n is, just 2. All right, same thing down here on number 8. We're going to try to multiply everything by the LCD, which is a, and clear those fractions. 1 times a is a. The next fraction, the a's cancel, and you get plus 1. The 2 over a, the a's cancel, you get 2. And then the last one, 2 times a is 2a. Now our goal is to get a's on one side, numbers on the other. So I'm going to subtract a from both sides. So I get 1 equals 2. If I subtract a, 2a's minus 1a is a. Now I got numbers on both sides. I need to put them together. So I'm going to subtract 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1 equals a. And so I get on this one negative 1, which is C. Number 9, John's test scores. And he wants to have an 80. Now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to have 5 tests. Remember, I told you there's a secret to this. He wants an average of 80 on 5 tests. So 80 times 5 is 400 minus the ones he has. Minus 72, minus 84, minus 86, and minus 70. And how much does that leave left for him to make is an 88. Better study, John. Okay, number 10, factoring. Again, it's a quadratic trinomial, so I'm going to use the big X. A times C is negative 18. B is negative 7. He goes on the bottom. Then I use my brain. What multiplies to give me the top but adds to give me the bottom would be negative 9 and positive 2. Divide by a, the number in front of x squared, which is 1. So my parentheses are x minus 9. x plus 2. And that equals D. All right, to the last page. Which one of these is not equal to the other 3? Well, now we just need to figure out what they are. 25% of 80. So I'm going to take 80 and dividing by 4, because that's what 25% means. Means multiply. So I get 20. Okay. A fifth of 100. So that one, I take 100 divided by 5. I get 20 again. The next one, 40 divided by 0.5. 40 divided by 0.5. If I put him in the calculator, I get 80. Ooh, 80 is not like the other answers of 20. So the answer is C. All right, number 12. Penny here can knit 4 rows of a sweater in 5 minutes. How many hours is it going to take her to knit those 300 rows? Well, I'm going to set up a proportion. So she can do 4 rows. I don't even need the word rows. In 5 minutes, and we want these in hours. That's 1/12 of an hour. Wow, Penny, good job. And that's going to be equal to 300 rows in X hours. Now I'm just going to cross multiply. 4 times X is 4X. And 300 times 1/12 is 300 divided by 12, which is 25. Solve for X. So X is 25 divided by 4 is 6 1/4. So it's going to take her B 6 1/4 hours. Number 13. The Lexus, we want the mean. Mean means average. So you have to add up all the other 5 cars and divide by 5. All right, so I'm going to add all those up. Divide by 5. When I add them up and divide by 5, I have to trust my calculator on this one. I get 25080. And then minus the Lexus. Or the Lexus minus it, sorry. 46,500 minus that. And that turns out to be D. All right, the last one here. 6 times a number. So 6n is 12 less than, so minus 12. Now let's see, less than 10 times the number, so 10n. Now we're going to solve him. Get all the n's on one side, so minus 10n on both sides. So 6 minus 10 is negative 4n equals negative 12. Divide by negative 4, n equals 3. So on this one, you get 3. All right, guys, now you're going to have a quiz over this on Friday, and good luck. See you then.